do like a sound clap, and so I'll count down. If you want to do it with me, it actually helps for us to see if there's how much of a delay there is too. So like I'll go like 3, 2, 1, and we'll both clap. So you just like clap whenever, like with me, not so. Okay, ready? So 3, 2, 1, clap. Okay, so it was like a couple seconds. That's cool.
Okay.
It also kind of helps the audience too. They're like, sometimes you'll say something and the other person's like, and you're like waiting for them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, so how's your morning so far?
Morning's been good. Just been busy working, and then I have a big job tomorrow, so just getting prepared for that. And here we are. Now we're here.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good so far. I just pretty much just getting all this stuff set, all the lights and stuff set up, and you know, getting my questions in front of me. So also if I look down right here, this is like where your face is. So like I'll try to look at the camera, but if I'm not looking at other stuff. I'm like, if I'm looking down here, I'm still looking at you. This is both me looking at you.
Gotcha.
So the first, I try to like go in order of importance of things to people. So first of all, how is your injury as a jiu-jitsu person? Like, how are you?
Oh, it's going pretty well. I'm back to training a little bit. I trained 3 times this week, which is like really awesome. So I'm at about, I would say like 65 to 70% physically. So still like being very careful training, but I mean, it's a blessing that I'm even back to rolling at all. So it's going well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I know, like, you know, anytime I get hurt, even at all, like, it just drives me crazy not to be able to train. So, like, I'm glad to hear you're coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the first, like, real question I ask people, and it's okay if you have, like, a short answer, long answer, no pressure. But the question is, do you have a favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? And if so, who and why?
That was a little bit before my time.
Okay.
So if you asked one of my brothers, they would probably have an answer to that, but or maybe my husband, but
sure.
I don't even know all the turtles.
That's fair.
I don't.
That's fair. Yeah, it's weird. There's like gaps where like, so there's like they release different shows in different time periods too. So there's like people who were like younger than you who are like, yeah, I love the turtles, but and like even little kids now, they're like, I love the turtles. I'm like, how do you know what I'm talking about? But then there's there's like there are gaps.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. No. That was a horrible answer.
Oh no, you're good. No, so like are there things other than like jiu-jitsu that you are like particularly nerdy about? I
mean, makeup, I guess. Like, I'm a makeup artist.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's like when I said I have a big job tomorrow, like I have to travel tomorrow and do a big wedding.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, so I guess I'm very nerdy about that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's like my main thing.
Okay, so like as a YouTuber, do you like what do you watch? Like, I'm assuming do you get in like, is there like a pool of makeup YouTube holes that you fall into at all?
I do, yeah, and I think just like becoming like overly obsessed with products and adding them to my kit and learning new techniques and stuff like that. Yeah, I can watch videos and study literally like all day long.
Yeah. So, like, did you get into doing that because you were like nerdy about it, and you were just like, you know what, I could probably do this and have people? And is that how you got into it?
I guess kind of. I never wanted to do anything else. Like as far back as I could remember, I always wanted to be a makeup artist. And when I was young, I've always been a creative person, and I used to draw a lot and paint and stuff. So as soon as I got old enough to like get my hands on makeup, like that's how it started. And then I just made it into a career, a job.
Nice, mm-hmm. Nice. So do you just do weddings, or do you like do film stuff or TV and stuff like that?
No, primarily just weddings. So I started off, I worked in a makeup salon in Manhattan for like 5 years up until COVID. And that's how I got introduced. And I did a little bit more like funky stuff with them because we had connections in Manhattan. So I would do just like different film stuff and more production stuff if I had to, if I was out of the salon. but I got introduced to doing weddings while I was working there as well, and that's like what I really love to do. So now I'm just on my own and doing weddings and shoots and stuff on the weekends. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, for my other job, I do entertainment stuff. So I will DJ weddings a lot, and so it's
cool.
Yeah, so I'm also at weddings frequently.
Yes. So you know the vibe. You know how it is.
Yeah. Weddings are like when. Yeah, without giving away any trade secrets, it's like when someone's like, "Can you do my wedding?" You're like, "What's your budget?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's good, it's good. Like you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Doing weddings. I don't know how it is like for DJs and stuff. I mean, I paid a good amount for my DJ at my wedding, but weddings is definitely a good source of income for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, if people are willing, like it's not like, I feel like you're not really taking advantage of people if you charge them a good price at a wedding, because like, you don't have to do all that. Like, so you can go to the courthouse and get married if you want. Like, if you're going to do all that stuff, and it's kind of like people who don't want to tip when they go out to eat. It's like you're going out to eat. If you got the money to go out and eat, you have the money to give a nice tip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what's the craziest wedding you've ever done?
I mean, everything everything goes smooth. I will say everything usually always goes smoothly. I had one wedding where they were kind of like they were so nice. They treated me so well, but they were very like Kardashian style. I forget what the venue was in Manhattan, but they were very, very wealthy, and they wanted like top tier service, which is totally fine as long as I get paid well. But honestly, like I really don't have any like crazy experiences because things always just go really smooth.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. I like that little sly plug in there. You're like, if you hire me, everything's gonna go nice and smooth.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess you don't really want to tell a story where you're like, one time I poked this guy in the eye, and then.
Definitely not. Can't blow up my business, you know what I mean?
Right. Trade secrets, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One time a kid threw a salad onto me and my computer, and that was not great. But I won't go into that.
Oh no!
When you're behind the DJ booth, some wild stuff happens because you're out.
It's always the man or the drunk people.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the same thing.
Which are essentially like the same thing. Yeah.
We definitely both work weddings for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you got to be a special kind of person to like be in the wedding industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's almost service industry, and there's a lot of crossover. I think
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I feel like service industry is like you kind of not graduate, but like you might get sick of that and you go to weddings because it's like not as much. There's still hustle like on the day or whatever, but it's not like.
Yeah.
I got to get up and do the same shit tomorrow and the next day, and then I got to double, and then
Yeah, exactly. Which I used to do. I used to be a server too, so I know how that is.
Same.
Not that I would ever want to like do catering in a wedding. Well, definitely not. But I feel like I like having a job where I can show up, do my job, get paid a lot of money, and then go home. Versus like having to spend 8 hours in an office is like a nightmare.
Same.
But I show up, I travel, do the wedding, I finish my work in 4 to 5 hours, and then I go home, and it's great. Yes.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that. I did the service industry for a long time, and yeah, it's just, I mean, there's a camaraderie to doing that, with everybody else. I feel like it's I think that we should, because of the nature of the way our country has evolved, maybe we should do like other countries with the military, but you have to serve like 2 years in the service industry, no matter who you are. Like you have to.
I say that all the time. Like my kids, they will be doing something customer service wise. I think it teaches you so much, like how to deal with people, how to handle yourself, kind of like jiu-jitsu, right? Yes. And it just teaches you not to be like like a little piece of crap. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
you can let it rip here if you want. If you want to call people pieces of shit, like, you'd be like, yeah, being the service ninja makes sure that you're not a fucking asshole. It's okay to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So on a like turning a corner into like martial arts stuff.
Okay.
Do you, since you have a channel, do you? And this is another question I've asked people. They have various stories or not stories, but do you get like dojo stormed, or do people like show up and like want to roll with you, and they're like too much, some like maybe not too much, but like really excited to kind of like give a lot of energy? Did that happen to you?
I don't think I'm that big yet. Okay. maybe one day. There was like, I mean, I definitely meet people in person, which is pretty cool and like super weird because I'm very introverted. But there was like one person that I think they came to visit my school one time, and like their girlfriend or their wife like watches my channel religiously. So they were like pretty excited to get to train with me. But yeah, nothing crazy has ever happened yet.
Okay.
We'll see.
So as so you're the first non-dude that I've had on the show. So as like a non-dude, I say that just to like kind of include everybody who's not a dude, because like the jiu-jitsu community, as you know, is mostly dudes. So it's like, people are not dudes.
Yeah.
So like, do you find that like your audience is as segregated in that way as jiu-jitsu, as I've seen jiu-jitsu to be?
Actually, so now, like, my audience, the percentage of women is a little bit higher, but at one point, especially earlier in the day, like when I first started it, I actually had more men, and then it grew to like 50-50, and now I think women have a little bit of a higher percentage, but I get a lot of men that do comment and watch the videos. I think because they like seeing it from somebody else's perspective, or they have a wife or a girlfriend that maybe they want to introduce to jiu-jitsu, or maybe they do train and they're able to like take my videos and information and send it over to them. So I do get a good amount of guys that watch the channel, interestingly enough. I'm like, I don't market towards you, but I mean, it's good to have both.
Sure. So I at my gym, I teach the introduction class on Fridays. So
where do you train?
Stout, Pittsburgh. We're like one of the larger gyms in the area. So I was gonna say, since you're also a coach, so I teach the very like first day people a lot of times.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, is there anything that would like make you feel that I could do to make you feel like really comfortable just as soon as you step on a mat for the very first time, as like somebody who's not a big dude?
As like a woman that trains?
Yeah. Or whoever trains. I have trans people who come to my class. Like I have all kinds of people coming. So like as anybody who's not like a big dude, like is there any
I think just like, I mean, somebody who comes in for the first time, I would hope has like a little bit of an idea of jiu-jitsu. So like when I teach beginners, especially like when I would teach, like preteen girls or something like that, I always kind of give them like a little bit of a briefing of like what jiu-jitsu is. And I kind of explain the self-defense side of it. So I break everything down, really make it really, really basic, like really dumbed it down. And I explain things from like a self-defense perspective. And that's what we do at my gym too. So if you come in it's your first time ever training, you have a free trial class, and it's jiu-jitsu, but it's from like a self-defense perspective. So I think it's helpful in that way to get people like on the same level. Like, oh, okay, like if I'm like, why am I standing right with my hands up? Or if I'm on the floor, like, why am my butt scooting away? Like, what's the purpose of that? Or why am I scooting closer? Just putting things into perspective for like real life, like why are we doing any of this?
Okay.
Yeah,
cool. So as a coach, what sorts of challenges do you find like coaching people in jiu-jitsu?
I think the like people's discomfort of being like so close. Like like you, I would teach. I'm not doing like privates now, obviously because I was out for a long time. But when I was, it was like the intimidation factor. And like I said, it would mostly be like preteen girls or girls that are maybe like 13, 14 years old. So they're already kind of like shy and timid. And to be like in this space where like if I'm sitting on them in mount or they're sitting on me, it's like they're just very shy and like uncomfortable at first. That's probably it's like the most difficult barrier to break, like letting them know like this is what it is, you know, and this is how jiu-jitsu is. Like it's very, very close contact, but you know, if you continue to do the lessons, like you will get used to it eventually, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So and when you're on like when you're on the mats or in the gym, so because you're a purple belt, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you get that fairly recently, or did you get that before the injury? I'm not sure.
No, I've been a purple belt now for 3.5 years.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, I think I just hit 3 years this past December.
Okay, so maybe I watched the video that was like from a while ago or something. I'm not sure if I remember watching the video. Anyway, so
yeah.
As a purple belt, like when you're at the gym, do you ever feel like you need to be like a mat enforcer, or like do people ever like if you're not wearing something indicating your rank, do people like who you don't know like try to like smash you super hard and you have to be like, all right, like, you know, here's what it's gonna be?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like it happens in both cases. So when they can see my rank, if they're like newer, and I think just especially as a woman in general that trains, like they try to come after you. If you're rolling with someone who's a lower rank, someone who's higher is gonna and they're a good person and you're friends with them, like they're gonna have the respect for you no matter what. But if it's somebody who is maybe a little bit newer, even like some blue belts, they try to dominate you most of the time, and then adding on like the higher rank, that adds on to that as well, for sure. So that was kind of like a little bit of what happened in the role where I got hurt. Like he was very spazzy, he was like treating it like a freaking life or death situation, and I'm like, bro, you're like literally 280 pounds, I'm 135 pounds, and like this is not a life or death situation. Like, relax.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 135 pounds, but some people, because I think especially with the newest people, like their ego is like it's so tightly bound with like because they've never felt like, you know, the helplessness before, so like.
Yeah,
like it's because eventually I think it's like we're all like ripping our egos away from that part of it. It's like, okay, well, this person is about to murder me in theory, that's okay, you know, like.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
when I think go ahead, sorry.
I think it's like a combination of both. Like I think it's like an ego thing potentially, but I think it's also just like being new. You know, you can't, like, everybody makes fun of white belts, right? Especially like the really big white belts, like 250 pound, 200 pound white belts. But like it's such a new weird thing, and it's like if you get this really small person, male or female, and they're coming at you, and you know they're using the gi to choke you all different kinds of ways, and they're like spinning underneath you, and they're you know maybe 50 pounds lighter than you, but they're like manhandling you. It's like, what the hell is going on, you know? And then they react the only way that they know how to react, which is kind of spazzy and finicky, and they just try to sort of get out of stuff any way that they can, which is kind of like what happened with me. So it's normal, and I tell people like that will get better. Like just the longer that you train, you know, the less spazzy that you're going to become and the more comfortable that you get. It just takes time. Like, you know, you don't stay a spazzy white belt forever. We were all there.
Oh yeah. So can you, I mean, obviously you don't have to just like describe who did it or anything, but like, can you describe what happened whenever you got injured so other people know what not to do?
So it was just a freak accident. It wasn't like I got caught in like a bad leg lock or something. It was a completely freak accident. So I got him into turtle, and I took his back. So I had my seatbelt and both hooks in, and he sort of, what I remember is like he kind of frantically like postured and twisted, and I think my hook got caught, and I think my body started to slide off. And so with this injury, a lot of people get it when they fall and they split, and their legs do a split, and so the tendons popped. So I think that's essentially what happened with me. Like my leg was one way, my body was probably the other way, and so that's what happened. But you know, injuries can happen like with anybody, but you know, definitely like it's so funny because I didn't want to roll with him. Like he was someone that I had never rolled with before. I had talked to him. He was a very nice guy, but I never rolled with him before just because he's a white belt. He's massive. Like he's so big. Like he's an overweight guy, and no judgments, but he's just very, very large. So he was just never somebody that I ever wanted to roll with, but it was like the last roll of the day, and he was sitting out and he was raising his hand, and I'm just like, you know what? It's fine. It'll be fine. Like I roll with white belts all the time. At this point in my like jiu-jitsu career, I have a handle on like how to deal with like spazzy white belts. I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It wasn't fine. So
it's always that last roll, isn't it? It's the last roll of the day.
It is, and it's like the one when you're tired and like, you know, I didn't really want to take class to begin with, but I was like, let me just take the fundamentals class because it's a little bit earlier. I was supposed to have an early client, I think for makeup the next day. So I'm like, let me just do my class, get my training in, go home and get ready. And yeah. It's all. So what I actually went. So I visited another local gym the other day, and I had a great time. Mm-hmm.
And then like as I was like getting up off the mat, I just like, and it's like totally my fault. It wasn't like, you know, anything. There's nothing wrong with the mat. Like I just, you know how sometimes you just clip you clip the corner like in the little crease of the mat. And I just caught my toenail at the right, and my toenail's not even long. Like I caught it just at the right angle, so like just popped away from my toe just for a second. So it wasn't like bleeding, but it was just like it turned like a different color. I was like, God damn it!
Yeah,
and it's
right at the right moment.
And it's on my big toe, so it's like, you know, like putting any pressure on it. It's like I'm still gonna roll, but every time I come down, I'm gonna be.
You don't realize how important your big toe is until like something happens to it. Let me tell you.
Yeah. The little toe can go all day. I could lose both little toes. I don't give a shit. But like my big toe, important.
Your thumb too. I injured my thumb when I was a white belt and I was in a cast for like 4 weeks. You don't realize how important your thumbs are until you don't have it to use it. It's crazy.
It's almost like it's one of the things that gives us like a biological advantage over most other stuff, you know? Right. You take your thumbs away, like that's gonna be not. I mean, it's not a. Some people obviously don't have those things, but if you're not used to not having those things, it's gonna be a problem for you.
Oh yeah, for
sure. So like on the mats, do you ever feel like, so you just took a fundamentals, you take the fundamentals classes, which I also do as much as I can. And I teach.
They're great.
So I teach the intro class. I will love teaching it because it makes my like understanding of jiu-jitsu like so much more comprehensive, because I have to explain it every time to brand new people, like, and explain it in ways that like the two different people don't understand it the same way. So you gotta figure out like how, you know, anyway. But like I really love taking those fundamental classes. So when you're taking those classes, do you ever feel like you need to like inspire the people who, like the new people, to like not show off, but like to demonstrate to them like this works, and I'm going to show you that this works?
Yeah, I mean, I think like in my school, we have a lot of the upper belts that do take the fundamentals classes. I mean, I would say it's majority white belts, but we do have a lot of upper belts, purple, brown belts that take it because like it is so good, and it's always good to brush up on your basics. But yeah, I think like as an upper belt in the room, especially if like the newer guys, I don't care too much about, especially like anymore. But like the newer women that come in the room, I definitely feel a responsibility to like be open to them and to partner with them and to kind of like show them the way, because, you know, it can be very intimidating, and it is very intimidating to show up and be new. And like even the basic movements, like this week in fundamentals was all submissions week. I mean, imagine being brand new and you come in and you're learning how to do, an arm bar from like a triangle hold, or like an Ezekiel choker from S-mount, or just like crazy stuff like that. That's basic for us, but to somebody new, it's like, wait, whoa, like I don't know how to do any of this. So, I think as an upper belt, I do feel a sense of like responsibility to like help guide people and make them feel more comfortable.
Yeah. And additionally, like you said, like having those upper belts in the fundamentals class, I think illustrates to the newer people that's like, you don't grow out of any of this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like it's always going to be important. It's always going to be good to like, brush up on like how to secure the mount position like in the best way possible, just like really basic stuff like that, especially when your instructor, like my instructor, is like, he's incredible, so all the little tiny details like really matter.
So on the martial arts tip on YouTube, do you have people who you turn to, do you like subscribe to, watch, like to check out?
I used to love, I haven't watched any of his videos in a while, but I used to love watching Jiujitsu.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like a staple person to watch on YouTube. I'm trying to think. I would turn to YouTube a lot, like when I was teaching privates, and like a lot of times I would take things that I learned in the fundamentals class and teaching it to my privates. But if I'm doing my own sequences with clients, then like sometimes I would need to like learn. And I have my husband too, which is great because he's a black belt. He's been a black belt for like 12 years. So I have like a forever like YouTube channel black belt like at my disposal. But yeah, I would just try to watch like instructionals and stuff just to learn like the tiny little details of all types of different stuff. Yeah. But I would say like actively watching and like looking forward to videos, Jiu-Jitsu is always a person that I like to watch.
Nice. Yeah, he's I forget, do you know what state he's in? Because one of the people from our gym...
Kentucky, I think.
Okay, yeah, because we had... Sometimes people from our gym go down there and train with him. So I was thinking about maybe, taking a trip to like different, like him and like Icy Mike and... just different around and train with different people at some point. But yeah, he seems like he'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, he seems very cool. He would be cool. I think he'd be a really cool person for you to talk to too. Yeah.
Also, yeah. I'm not sure if I sent him an email already or not, but I definitely, if I haven't, I will reach out. So if anybody's watching this and Chewy, tell him to send me an email or respond if I already emailed him.
Yeah.
Quit being a jerk.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, so how did you first get into doing jiu-jitsu?
So I used to work out at a UFC gym, and so I met my now husband and I started jiu-jitsu, like they fell into place together. So I was super into lifting, like I almost went down the bodybuilding route, and when I was there one night late, like after serving, I used to go to the gym at like 11 o'clock at night after getting off work, and he used to like live at the gym, so he was there late. And I had like known about jiu-jitsu, like I have two older brothers, so I always knew about like MMA and wrestling and stuff. And so I had been wanting to learn like self-defense, and my dad had always been like nudging me about it, but I just never like took any kind of opportunity or really looked into it. But I knew that Todd, my husband, was one of the head instructors at the gym. So the same night that he came over and started talking to me, I had asked him about like taking a private or signing up for class. So we started talking kind of like the same night that I got introduced to jiu-jitsu. So from there on, I started doing privates with him, and then we started dating. And then it took me like a year and a half to actually go into class because I was like so intimidated.
Okay. Nice. So after you went, like, what were your first impressions after like finally coming into a class, like after just getting?
It was like I hated it actually. I hated it. It was like So at first I was only taking his classes because I just felt like he was sort of like my security blanket.
Sure.
So I took maybe his classes for a couple of weeks. The first class I remember rolling because I had taken like a ton of privates and stuff with him. So I had like a little bit of an idea. So I think the first couple of people were like very gentle with me. And then I remember rolling with this one guy, he was a blue belt, and he just went at it. Like, he didn't care that I was like brand new. And I remember being like so upset and so like just frazzled. Anyway, the next couple of months were like really hard because I just hated it. But I knew that it would be really good for me if I can just get past the first like 4 to 6 months of like not liking it. I knew that because I was an athlete, like I knew that I could be good at it. And I knew that if I just put effort into it and I got used to it, that I would like it and that it would be good for me. So yeah.
Gotcha.
It took a little while.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I can totally understand that. Yeah, like, so if you were going to build someone, like a new person, if someone came to you for private lessons and you were going to build their game from zero, what are the first steps you would take?
Very first steps, I teach people how to, like, the basic movements. So like the warm-up movements, break falls. I think that like if you don't know how to fall properly, then like you can't get anywhere. Break fall, basic movements like hip escaping and Y, because that's one of the movements that like people have the hardest time with at first. It just doesn't, like, the coordination, because jiu-jitsu is all about coordination. Like, one body part is moving one way, the next half of your body is moving the other way. It's like, how do we do this? So hip escaping, sit escaping, like all those types of things, or like forward rolling, backward rolling, which people always have a hard time doing. Just like those very basic movements, and why, and really breaking it down for them is always like the first stuff that I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And then like a mount escape. So
okay.
People can like sort of put it into like perspective of like, okay, this is why jiu-jitsu exists, right? Because most of the time, like, someone's going to try to get on top of you or something, right? So it's like, okay, just putting into like a real life scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually, for my example is usually side control for that reason, just because, like, feeling pinned down by somebody, especially bigger than you. And it's like, if you just like have base and connection, and you can just make you in one piece, you can move anybody of any size that you want.
Yeah. So I'm always interested to hear what other people's like first kind of thoughts. It's like, how do you illustrate what it is that we're doing to somebody who has no idea? I know. Yeah. So I would say just like the basic like body movements to like understand how jiu-jitsu works. And I try to tell people, all of these different basic like warm-up movements translate into actual like jiu-jitsu moves, right? Like, there's a reason why we shrimp, right? To get out of side control, for example, right? Or get out of mount or anything. So I try to like reinforce like these movements, even though they're separated right now, like they go easily into actual techniques, and that's why they're so important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you might appreciate this because of what you said about your first experience in the class, is that for my intro class, I try to tell everybody, like, so we do play some competitive games at the end. Like, we do the guard passing game where you put the feet on the hips and then they try to get past the legs, which I feel like is a good way to do it without people smashing each other. And I try to say, by the end,
that's so fun. I love that game.
It's like you can get like, I feel like you can get like 70% pretty good at jiu-jitsu just by playing that game every day.
Yeah, totally.
But like the first thing at the beginning of class, I say, by the end of this, whoever is the least tired is the winner. Because like what we're doing is, like, we're not, like, you can win or you can beat somebody, and that's not the same thing. Mm-hmm. So like, it takes a lot of that first, like what you said about like people trying to be like, like, if it's your first day, you don't need that. There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not necessary at all. That's not what we're doing. Like, I mean, you can do that, but, so yeah, I don't know.
Like, who can who can do it the most, like while preserving the most energy and not like expelling so much like adrenaline and all this crazy kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to put it. I like that. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah. So speaking of like adrenaline and stuff, what is your gym? What's the temperature of your gym on the stand-up game?
We can start from stand-up like whenever during rolling. Is that what you mean, or do you mean like?
I mean, like, is it like so? I ask because we're like you're pretty close. Like, so I'm in Western Pennsylvania, which like is for as far as wrestling is concerned, is like one of the epicenters in our country of wrestling. So like, every other person who comes to the gym, so Pitt, like the University of Pittsburgh has a Division I wrestling team, and so the college is like right there. So like you just have all kinds of Division I wrestlers coming down, right? And so like it's weird. It's not weird that people come in not knowing how to wrestle, but like it's not weird that someone is like a good wrestler to start. So it's kind of like it's not a tradition, but I've heard that someone came up from Texas and they said that, oh, you're from Pittsburgh. That's like the Dagestan of the U.S. because you guys wrestle like that. It's like, yeah. So I ask about the stand-up game because all the time I hear in other YouTubers' videos about, oh, jiu-jitsu people don't know how to stand up, and everyone at our gym is like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. We have, so we definitely have a good amount of wrestlers that come. My coach is like, so I train under Mateus Lutez. He like has pretty decent wrestling. And then we actually have a specific wrestling class every Sunday. John Massa teaches it. He's I think he's like he competed for Hofstra, which is D1, and I think he was like, I don't want to butcher it, state champion. I don't even know like the levels to wrestling, but
he's good at wrestling.
He did a lot. He's a good wrestler, yeah. So he's pretty important in the wrestling world, at least on Long Island. So he teaches wrestling class every Sunday, and that's been really helpful for a lot of people. So yeah, I would say the stand-up game is pretty good. We have a lot of people doing like the ADCC Opens right now. The place is actually down in Mexico this weekend doing it. So there's been a lot of stand-up for sure going on.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. It breaks my heart whenever people like, some of the channels, they're like, and everybody knows, the jiu-jitsu guys stand-up garbage. Or it's like, oh, okay, well, that's...
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, there's like a lot of people that like have a really good stand-up game. And also it's like, I mean, people make fun of like guard pullers, but like, I mean, for the sport of jiu-jitsu, like if you have like a nasty guard and if you have a good say takedown game, but you can't pass somebody's guard, then like, what is that going to do for you? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You got to have everything. I mean, we know that. Yeah. No, I mean, because I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like, we're both Northeasterners, and there aren't like a lot of, that I can think of like a whole bunch of, other than the people in the Blue Basement, like Northeasterner kind of YouTubers that I'm aware of, that are like real big.
Yeah.
A lot of them I think are like West Coast people or like Texas people. I guess Jordan Jiu-Jitsu is Canadian, and his wrestling is fucking on point, so I'm not talking about him.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. I forgot about him. I used to watch his videos too.
Yeah. Shout out to him. He's probably going to be on the show too, I think. Well, I'm going to talk to him.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
Yeah. He did respond, so shout out to Jordan. We'll talk.
Nice.
Talk soon. And his man, I might actually have to go see him because like his wrestling is legit, and I want to. Nice. I want to just get a not trying to like take his head off. You said that people don't come in like, so it doesn't really happen to me that much, but like I've talked to say like Icy Mike and Rob from McDojo Life. They both like, sometimes people they'll be like, oh, you're in my gym now, like, they try to like go ahead, like,
yeah,
that's not what I was trying to say about Jordan. That's like, see your role
during the camp that I just did for Alchemized Fightwear, that's the brand that I work for, we just put together a 150 women's grappling camp last month.
Nice.
And Margot Ciccarelli was one of the instructors. During her seminar afterwards, she was rolling around a little bit. And one of my friends that was there, she's young. She's maybe like, I think she's like 21, but she's been doing jiu-jitsu since she was a teenager. Like she's gotten a lot better since being at my school. She's gotten really good. But she's like she wants to go 150% all the time. So she was kind of just like joking around about it, but she was also serious. And she was like, I'm going to roll with Margot and I'm going to go as hard as I can. And I'm like, Sam, Margot's doing Worlds in 2 weeks and you're a blue belt. Like, why are you going to try and like hurt Margot? Like, just relax. But yeah, so I'm sure people that have a name to them, they probably go through that a lot.
I can only imagine. I mean, it's kind of, doing that, like going 100% at somebody who's like really well known is, I feel like it's kind of like the equivalent of like going up to a celebrity with like all the gear on from like their most famous movie and being like, I want to be your best friend.
Yeah, like it's just like, why? I don't get it. Just like take the opportunity and appreciate like the role with them, like why do you have to go full force,
Well, also, and if you're going full force, you're not feeling you're not paying attention to what they're doing, which is like as part, like I'd say
exactly.
Like, I don't know, 90% of all of this in the first place, where it's like if I were to roll with somebody who was really good, I would be so cautious and like just feeling that the most minuscule movements, and unless they came at me hard, like I'd be like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? What are they? Not because I'm scared, but because I'm like paying close attention. Like
I'm like interested.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it would be this like, it would probably look real weird. It'd be like a weird dance at first. Like, what are they gonna do? A little bit of that. A little bit of this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So for the audience, if you're a jiu-jitsu person, if you go out, if you get to roll with somebody who's well known, pay attention to what they are doing, because they're probably a lot better than you.
Yeah.
And if you force them to do, it's like the Dark Side Cave on Dagobah in The Empire Strikes Back. If you bring violence in with you, that's what you're going to find.
Yeah, I would like just take it as a learning opportunity. There's no reason to like try to hurt the other person, like, because one, it's probably not going to work. But yeah, just take it as a learning opportunity for sure.
Absolutely. What other? I had another question. Yeah. So if you could roll with anybody, who would it be? Okay, let me two parts. Anybody ever who's alive or dead, and then like realistically who like who's like a living person who's not too old or anything, who you could have like a good roll with.
Okay, so my favorite person like right now, probably like every other female that trains, is Fionn. Sorry. But I have rolled with her.
Oh,
but
cool.
I would love to. Yeah, I did. I took a seminar of hers like a while ago, and it was cool. I actually got to interview her and stuff. I freaking love her. She's amazing. But I would love to roll with her again. Absolutely. I think there's so many people that like I love and follow. Who else? I feel like I would just get smushed into the ground, but like I would love to roll with Bia. Yeah, those are like the two, because I've, Bia's been around obviously for like much longer than say Fionn, so she's someone that I have known and followed since for just a long time, so I would love to meet and roll with her. Yeah.
Okay, I like those answers.
Yeah.
Nice. Shout out to both those people.
Yeah,
they're welcome to be on the show.
Yeah, we're hoping, I really want to have Fionn at next year's camp, so that would be really cool.
Nice.
Hopefully we can set that up. Yeah.
It seems like she's pretty active on like Instagram. I think
she is. Yeah, and it's cool because she actually trains now at Essential, which is not too far for me. So, and I know people that train there, and my husband actually used to train there. So, it's cool that she's local and accessible.
Nice. So what are you working on in your own jiu-jitsu right now?
Surviving. Honestly, like nothing. I would say I'm trying to work on figuring out what I'm comfortable with and what my body can do. So my game is definitely going to change. I was very I loved playing guard. Like I'm a guard player. There's some takedowns that I like, but I love being like spider guard, that kind of stuff, no-gi, like inverting underneath the legs. Like I love being just like bendy and and spinny and all that kind of stuff. So right now that is not really in the game plan because the way that the injury was, like, I'm terrified of having my leg in full extension and for it to be like to have pressure against it. So when I roll, I keep my leg in like as close to my chest as possible because that's where I feel the most protected. So I find myself going to like half guard and deep half, and I freaking hate half guard and deep half. Like that is like like the complete opposite of everything that I used to like to play. I feel like probably butterfly would start working for me too, but that was also something that I never really played either. So right now, long answer short, I'm trying to work on figuring out like where I feel comfortable when I'm training. I feel like good on top, but you know, it's just right now working on like being consistent again and just figuring stuff out, you know, like 10 months is a long time. So, and to also not be like at 100% either. So just trying to figure out like what my body can and can't do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I wish you good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Again, my heart goes out to anybody who gets injured and can't train for a long time. Just the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. What are working on right now with jiu-jitsu? How often do you train?
So I teach on Fridays at 6 down at Stout. So if you're in town, I'll be down there for sure. For the audience to come down and train. On Saturdays, I do this thing we call the Battlecade in my basement.
Okay.
Actually, I think I can make my background like there's footage of us like rolling around in there. So let me just go on zoom out.
Okay.
As I'm talking, I'll change my background to the Battlecade. So the Battlecade is my basement. So I'm like an untamed man child. So there it is. There's the Battlecade.
Oh, that's dope.
So yeah, you can see like there's some arcade games here. This one right here, this is a Ninja Turtles, and now it has like a multicade, a Raspberry Pi in it, so it has like every game you've ever heard of on it.
Oh my gosh!
So every Saturday, people come over at like from like noon or so, and for a couple hours we just roll around, and this is the area. It's kind of like
awesome,
like an adult version of like the Shredder's lair from Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I realized that I turned myself into like subconsciously into just an adult, real life Ninja Turtle as an adult.
Yeah.
After it had already happened, so that's what happened to me.
Oh, that's so cool! I love that.
So those definitely those 2 days, and I on Fridays I usually before I teach I try to get in a roll with Mike, Mike Wilkins, my coach. Shout out to the general. So we always get like we'll roll for just like an hour straight without stops. Just
nice. Yeah.
Hour straight. And
I love those kinds of rolls. I used to do those all the time. So before, so when I was still training at my first gym, UFC, me and my husband, we would like on like a Saturday, like evening, you know, if we didn't really have anything to do, like that's what we would do, like because that gym is 24/7, so you can go in there whenever you want. So we would just go in there and we would just roll for like an hour and a half, and like it's so funny, like once you reach a certain point, it's like you no longer get tired, right? Going into say like, and also because you're preserving your energy, and I just feel like you're in this different like flow state where you just don't get tired and you're able to go for like an hour without stopping. It's like kind of a wild experience, but I love I love those kinds of rolls.
Oh yeah. We talk about how weird that is all the time. Like, and people who don't do jiu-jitsu or haven't, maybe they quit before they got to a point where they could achieve that like connectivity with somebody else. Because like, especially when someone you know really well, where then it becomes like it would be the same thing for people who, if you were kids, played like rock paper scissors against someone like all the time, like a sibling or a best friend or something, and like eventually you're like. You're not even thinking about your hand or what your hands are doing. You're just thinking what they're gonna throw and what you're gonna throw, and and it's just like that over and over and over again, and until it's like an hour later and you're like, we gotta stop. I gotta go somewhere. Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, but But so that's almost an hour's worth of talking. So I think it's about the limit of the audience's attention span usually.
Attention span.
Yeah. But no, thanks so much for giving me a little bit of your morning.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This was awesome.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Of course, yeah, and of course, I'll probably ask you to be on again. And if you're ever around here and you want to train, come down to Stout. And you can send me an email or whatever. If you want to come train.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
Or if you want to come to the Battlecade every Saturday, we do that too. There's
yeah,
always a bunch of people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then if I'm up near your area, I'll send you an email and go to your gym or something.
Definitely, you're always more than welcome for sure. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, Long Island. So if you're ever in the Long Island area, come by.
Can you? So this is so. Can you? I don't know if you can see this. Can you? So what's it? Can you? Can you?
Water.
I've got a couple of friends from Long Island, and also I'm half Jewish, half black. So my one side of my family, some of the people have very strong accents. So it just makes me so happy to hear the accent.
Yeah. The accent exists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You should hear my mom and my aunt, they got the accent for sure, a lot more than I do.
Well, so I mean, I have to pay close attention so I don't slide in. It's not really bad, but if I'm talking quickly, the Pittsburgh accent will emerge from within me.
What's the Pittsburgh accent?
You've never heard of the Pittsburgh accent before?
I don't think so.
Oh my, you should probably. So I'm gonna email you a YouTube channel. It's called greganddonny,
okay.
and so.
Right, sir.
Quit answering. We need to hear your message.
How's come?
Don't matter how's come. Just let it go through.
All right. All right, sir.
Knock it off, Missy!
Oh, jeez. It's hard not to pick up the phone when it's ringing. It's like telling me not to flush.
That's over the line.
No one's telling you not to flush.
Just don't pick up.
Okay already.
Right here, I'll put when I edit this together, I'll put a little bit of
the little box.
Yeah. But it is so. The Pittsburgh accent is one of the most wonderful and confusing of all American accents. If to do it, you kind of have to make your mouth really. You gotta make your mouth really lazy like this, and then you gotta just let all the words fall out like that, and then you throw the word yins in, YINZ, or yuns, which is what we used to say. Anyway, so you don't saying he, they, whatever. You say yins for everybody. So it's, yins got to go down there to Johnny go and do so. It's like a really so.
You'll have to send me that video.
I will. So anyway, I was outroing us. Thank you again so much for being here. Let the people know. Is there anything you would like to plug? Shout out. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah. So my YouTube channel, I'm trying to. I say this in every video, but I'm almost at the 10K. I feel like I'll reach it within the next couple of months. So that's not that anything special happens when it's not like you make more money or get anything for 10K, but I feel like it's a pretty good milestone to hit. So if you are watching this and you want to watch my videos, then maybe hit the subscribe button. It's under Kimberly Kinch, just my name, except I have to actually change my name since getting married, so it's my maiden name. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Check out Kim's channel, everybody. So
yeah, I'm also, while I'm here, I'll also plug in my husband. So my husband's a functional patterns practitioner. So if anybody's watching this who is injured and beat up from jiu-jitsu, then you can always go to my channel. You can find my email address, and then we can get you connected to him to fix your broken body.
Oh, nice. That's a great plug. I know a lot of people with broken bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you one last time. Thanks everybody for checking out the show. As Kim said, do all the liking and the subscribing, and I'll see all yins later.
Thank you. See you. Bye.